Straight to our top story here at 6 o'clock. Today, ousted Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro will be in a New York City courtroom for the first time. Thanks for being with us. I'm Adriana Hopkins.
And I'm Adam Longo. Maduro and his wife are facing a 4-count federal indictment alleging that they were at the forefront of a narco-terrorism conspiracy to transport thousands of tons of cocaine into the U.S. Aboard Air Force One as he headed back to D.C. last night, President Trump was asked who's in charge of Venezuela, and he responded saying, "We're in charge."
Now that comes as Venezuela's acting president says she invites the U.S. government to collaborate with them and that the Venezuelan people deserve peace. Also
today, members of the Trump administration will brief select members of Congress about the operation in Venezuela. That briefing is expected to take place at 5:30 tonight.
7 News is on your side with coverage of what's next for Maduro and Venezuela and what it means for you and your money.
Yeah, John Rogers starts off our team coverage. So, John, what can we expect in Maduro's first court appearance?
Well, we'll find out at noon. That's when he's set to make his first court appearance in New York City. Now, he's being arraigned on a 4-count indictment that charged him with leading a 25-year narco-terrorism conspiracy. The federal government has pursued this case in court for 15 years. Maduro has been a named defendant for 6 of those years. Now, the judge overseeing this case is 92-year-old U.S. District Judge Alvin Hellerstein. He's overseen this case for more than a decade. We'll be following these developments, and we'll be sure to drop you a push alert with any updates today.
Fallout from the military strikes on Venezuela and Maduro's capture are still being felt in D.C. and around the world. 7 News' John Gonzalez is live for us this morning with more on the sharp reaction from local leaders and the Venezuelan community.
Adriana, good morning. And as Washington wakes up this morning, the attention now turns to what comes next, both overseas and here at home, now that Nicolás Maduro is in U.S. custody and is expected inside that federal courthouse in New York City in just hours. Now, this morning, the Trump administration is being very clear, saying the military operation targeted narco-terrorism networks accused of funneling massive amounts of cocaine and weapons into the United States. Democrats across the DMV are pushing back, questioning the legality of the strike and warning of long-term consequences, while some, including Maryland Republican Congressman Andy Harris, praised the move over the weekend, calling it a long overdue crackdown on drug trafficking. I asked legal and weapons expert Jim Orte, was this strike legal?
Under Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution, it gives the president broad powers. On top of that, is this an actual war, or was this a law enforcement operation? I got to be honest with you, the military was smart because they took DEA agents with them during the operation. So you could say he is a indicted narco terrorist.
And with Maduro now expected to face that federal judge at noon today for that initial arraignment. Here at home, officials say there is no active threat in D.C., but security coordination remains ongoing this morning. Much more on that coming up later this hour. Reporting live, John Gonzalez, 7 News.
And in D.C., people who support the capture of Maduro and those who oppose it made their voices heard. Demonstrations erupted Saturday in D.C., and 7 News spoke with people on both sides of the issue.
As an American, you're going to be scared. We want to travel the world. We want to be part of the world, and this is not something that a normal country that respects other countries does.
So today, the Venezuelan community in the DMV woke up to the best news they could have waited for in the last 14 years. Freedom has started to begin in Venezuela.
The man you just heard from says he fled Venezuela 10 years ago for safety reasons. He says he is hopeful that he can soon return home.
Well, this morning we are getting a better look at the damage done during the U.S. strikes on Caracas. Just take a look here. These are images before and after of the Fort Tayuna military base. This was one of the places that the U.S. military targeted as it moved in to capture Maduro in his home. Officials in Venezuela say dozens of people were killed in the strikes. President Trump says no members of the U.S. military were killed. Some troops were injured, but they are said to be recovering.
Many people traveling in the Caribbean were met with flight delays and cancellations. Hundreds of flights were affected from Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Aruba, and more. Our sister station in Alabama spoke with a couple who are stuck in St. Lucia.
We were supposed to get out yesterday. We had a flight, and they're saying we're not going to get out now until next Sunday.
Well, we have a flight for next Sunday, but we're we're really hoping that we don't have to wait it out that long.
Wow. Well, the Federal Aviation Administration has since reopened the Eastern Caribbean airspace, and now airlines are scrambling to add flights.
The United Nations Security Council is expected to meet today to discuss Maduro's capture. This comes after Venezuela's ambassador to the UN wrote to the council claiming that the Trump administration violated international law. The UN Secretary General warns that the developments in Venezuela set a, quote, dangerous precedent for other countries. We talked with the former defense secretary for NATO about the message that the capture sends to the rest of the world.
The mission as it was carried out in terms of the military aspect of it was pretty impressive. The circumstances surrounding it, of course, are open to debate, but the role of the U.S. military and how they went about it was very professional and I think is something that we can be proud of on the one hand. And on the other hand, I think it's an unsettled feeling, I think, for a lot of people that we've done this. Certainly overseas, the reaction has been mooted. The people in Venezuela on the whole seem to be happy about it. But I think all eyes are looking at what comes next. How can we make sure this ends up in a peaceful, good transition for the Venezuelan people?
In our interview, we also asked, was this move legally sound by the Trump administration? You can see his response right now on our homepage.
We are following more reaction this morning. Pope Leo says Venezuela should be left as an independent nation. Speaking from the Vatican Sunday, the head of the Roman Catholic Church called for respect for the rule of law as enshrined in Venezuela's constitution. Leo, who is the first American pope, has been at odds with President Trump's handling of immigration and foreign affairs. Of course, we'll continue our coverage on Nicolás Maduro and Venezuela throughout the day here on 7 News. We'll have much more at 6:45, and you can read the very latest up right now on our website.
All right, now to a check.